We have futures relatively flat this morning after that inflation report. But look who's here. He always likes to come on the show when there's a big issue to pass judgment on, and here is David Bahnsen. All right, Bahnsen, your analysis on the CPI.
There was a lot of ingredients inside of it that are important. Looking at the ingredients of that, food was up 0.7% for the month. Apparel was up more. Household furnishings came down after Trump took those tariffs off. Tariff-sensitive things went up the most. Tariff-insensitive things came down the most. All in, as Warren said, what was expected in the report.
Will the Fed lower interest rates at its next meeting?
No, it won't, but that's just because they've already put themselves on a path. They've already set the expectation in the market to wait a few months.
I want to turn to the criminal investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. In a post on X, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro wrote that she started the probe because she got no response from her inquiries at the Fed. She may be backing away a little. That's my sense. House Financial Services Chair French Hill, he says the investigation creates an unnecessary distraction. Maybe he wants to back away as well. He says the investigation could undermine Trump's future ability to make sound decisions. I think they're backing away. What do you say?
Well, I definitely think they're backing away. I think President Trump wants them to back away, and I want to say Secretary Bessent is pushing for them to back away. This was a really big unforced error.
I think he'll just let it fade.
That's all.
Stop it now. Let it fade.
That's right. And markets helped do that yesterday by just sort of coming back intraday. Republicans pushed back. It's a good time to let this thing go away.
I always like to go to David for analysis when I see a vigorous expression on his face. But now he's rather solemn and neutral. What do you got on the banks?
Well, on the J.P. Morgan, which we've owned for a very long time, and it's one of the greatest dividend growers in America, but it was an outstanding quarter. And when we say 3% increase in net interest income that Warren highlighted, that's $3 billion. They're talking about, they're increasing expectations from $100 billion to $103 billion. This is a money-making machine, far and away the best bank stock you could buy.
You clearly like it.
I do.
You wouldn't be putting money into an airline.
No, I subscribe to Warren Buffett's old, I think he was being funny when he said 12-step program for anyone who buys airline stocks. You're so volatile, so cyclical, so many things that can and do go wrong. We don't touch the whole sector.
No,
and they don't pay dividends consistently, and the reason is because they can't, for that very reason.
Well, you don't like them, do you?
That's right.
Intel is up. Did somebody give them a 3.5%?
Yeah, and back above $45 a share. Yeah, KeyBank upgraded Intel to the equivalent of a buy. $60 price target. KeyBank's checks show that Intel is, get this, almost sold out of chips for the year and is now considering a 10 to 15% price increase for certain chips, thanks to big demand from the cloud service providers. That's a nice problem to have.
He's shaking his head. Go on. What do you got?
I was going to see if the White House has issued a recommendation, a buy rating. They're a big owner.
And so are we.
I have
That's right.
a problem with the government ownership of these companies, but it certainly helped Intel quite a bit.
It sure did. Yeah. It rescued them. AMD, they got an upgrade from
Same
KeyBank.
analyst, same rating, goes to an overweight. The price target for AMD, remember this name was up almost 80% in 2025. KeyBank is going to $270 a share. That would be a gain of 30%. They see revenue from their chip sales growing at least 50% this year, and also see stronger pricing ahead.
Why didn't you tell me to buy AMD?
That is most certainly not a name that we own, so I didn't tell you to buy it.
Okay, I'm moving on. Layoffs at Meta. What's that about?
So
I know. That's that.
Metaverse?
The Metaverse.
Reality Labs?
Yeah.
Meta tells me they are cutting 1,000 jobs at the Reality Labs division. About 15,000 workers are in that Reality Labs division.
I can't read his face. What do you got?
Just the overall Metaverse thing, it's amazing how little coverage it gets. It was the biggest thing they were ever going to do. They've spent about $30 billion, and they're just letting it go away, and no one's talking about it.
It never worked, did it?
Well, of course not. And they do have the free cash flow that they can afford to waste that much money, but that's a staggering amount of money to throw out against the wall and just let it go. I just want investors to realize that do not assume that these people know what the next big thing is.
Nobody
They get
does.
it wrong all the time.
Agreed.
Hold on. I want to give David time to look at Blackstone, since that's his dividend pick. You turned me on to Blackstone. I made money on it, so go.
Yes. Well, last week it was in the news a lot. President Trump came out and announced he wanted to ban institutional ownership of residential real estate, which is 0.2% of what Blackstone is doing, a very tiny piece. They may, through some of their subsidiaries, own 60,000 homes total in the country out of 85 million single-family residences. This is a leader, private equity, private credit, real estate, infrastructure, and it's a fee-paying business. That's why you and I have made so much money on it. We're getting the fees from everything they're out managing, best of class. They need to defend what they're doing. They help communities when they build. They help residents. We need more supply to help that industry. So I want to get an ideological point in there, too. But I also will say they grew the dividend 30% last year, and the stock is up about 1,200% since I recommended it to you.
Wow.
That is correct, as a matter of fact. Yes, thank you, David. Thank you so much.